Hey, you're listening to No Limits, episode 37. It's me, Taylor, and my mic was totally screwed the hell up the past two episodes, but it's better now because of the Wavelink stream software and my co-host Bree's help. And I'm going to play the intro now. Hi, Sam. All right, here we go. Bye. Okay, I did not hear the audio of the intro at all.
I heard it just fine.
Okay.
I was just sat in silence with a blank screen.
Okay, so I'm going to assume it made it into the recording as my computer continues to...
It did cut off a tiny bit early, but that's okay.
Oh, maybe my computer might be...
the resolution of the cord.
Might be trying to divorce me, but it's all right. Not the first rodeo.
Not the first time you've been divorced, Taylor.
Yeah, I think I have to say, well, I haven't even been married yet, so...
Well, you just said you've been divorced.
Yeah.
Does our relationship mean nothing to you, Taylor?
That's what I was just thinking. Thanks
You're
for saying
right.
something, Sam.
Maybe I'm like Electra, and I've been immortal or something.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, Electra becomes... I forget.
I don't know
I
what
knew
you're
what you were
talking
doing.
about.
Yeah. That reminds me, Brew. I said Brew. Bree. Bree. Watch Daredevil. I'm not asking.
Okay. If it makes it into the list
Oh.
that I have to watch,
It'll make it into the list. And
talk to Sam.
And Sam, I
Don't
can't
worry,
wait
Taylor. It's there. It's there. It's okay.
Was it
Sam's
Born
in
Again is
charge.
coming out next year?
It is.
Oh my god.
Set photos are coming out.
Oh my god. So excited. Okay, this isn't a Marvel podcast. This is a PlayStation podcast.
You got it.
Remember, you can find the video version of this podcast of No Limits over on youtube.com/SaveTheGameMedia every Tuesday. And while you're over there, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you'd rather listen to audio, we are on all your favorite podcast services. We would love it if you would leave us a review. It helps us grow, and we would love any feedback. If you want to support us and get early access to all Save the Game Media content, head over to patreon.com/SaveTheGameMedia and choose the tier that's right for you, just like our current patrons did. Bucky Blue, Hopple, Alpaca Tom, Amon, Fabulous Brianna, Brianna's mom, Brianna's brother, Brianna's wife, Nikolai at Night, Cypher Primus, Brendan Myers, Marcus O'Neill, Lillian, Mimi J, The Snack Network, David Hotright, Dave Hart, and the Xbox Expansion Pass. Hold on. I can't believe I'm saying this on air, but I have to say it again. Bree, it's Brianna, not Brianna, right?
It's Brianna, not Anna.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes.
A mutual friend of ours was saying Anna the other night, and I'm like, that's sus.
Yeah, it's Anna, very specifically, because we don't mess with Briannas. They stole my boyfriend in preschool, so.
Oh yeah, I knew a Brianna who became a hairstylist in high... Anyway,
it was a good story.
check our Discord if I didn't say so. I forgot by now, but Discord. We talk there.
Plus, you guys don't really ever call me Brianna. You guys usually say Bree.
But yeah, when it comes to reading the patrons, I want to make sure I'm saying saying the full thing.
Brianna. Yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying this after how many months? Like 7-8 months of knowing you.
It's okay.
It's okay. Let's see. Wait, it's been June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. March.
I forget everybody's last names all the time.
It's okay. They're not important. They're not used for identification at all.
I don't really call you guys by your last name, so.
Who does?
Okay.
Except, I actually used to get
James
called
Bond.
my last name in middle school.
Oh.
It was really stupid. It was really, really stupid. It was like they were trying to say that my last name rhymes with salami. And so they kept saying like harami, but they kept saying like harami, that's a meat. And I like never got the joke. And I was like, okay. And so that's what they would call me.
I thought your last name is much closer to a joke saying that's wait, what's the word? Karen?
Well, my last name is a bad word. in two
Right,
different
yeah. So like
languages.
harem means something's forbidden by Islamic law, right?
Yeah, well, harami means like one bastard and two thief, depending on the language.
Mhm.
So
Why not be both?
I am. What can I say? Stealing people's hearts.
Oh yeah, in Persona 5. Okay.
Mm.
What are you playing, Sam?
What am I playing?
Yeah, what are
Oh
you playing?
boy. Oh boy.
Whoa, that was aggressive, Taylor.
What are you
I
playing?
I don't know,
Not how
maybe
am I? Just
time.
what are you playing?
Yeah.
I don't have time for this.
I have been playing quite a bit actually this past week. Pretty much exclusively things that debuted in the PS Plus catalog this month.
Oh, beautiful.
I have played and completed Chia. I have played Ghostwire Tokyo. I have played
Did you
Immortals
beat
Phoenix
that one or just
Rising.
played it?
No. Just I've only
Sorry.
completed Chia at the minute. And alongside Immortals Phoenix Rising, what is the other one? Oh, Life is Strange: True Colors. And boy, oh boy, have I had a good week. I've said this privately to Bree in conversation, but I am currently setting Chia as my game of the year.
Wow.
And to preface, that's a bold statement. I'm not necessarily guaranteeing it is going to stay that way, depending on the quality of other titles coming this year. But in terms of an indie title that completely took me off guard and really surprised me in quite sort of profound and unique ways, Chia absolutely did that. So I love my time. I completely devoured it. I platinumed it the day after release. So yeah, I have nothing but good things to say. It's not necessarily an excellent game necessarily, but it's, as I said to Bree, probably the greatest example of a labor of love and a love letter to the homeland and culture of the devs that I've ever seen. So I love that. Ghostwire Tokyo, it's all right. Not that great, really, to be honest.
Okay, that's what I was trying to. That's what I was gonna ask because I was like, I bought that game. Like I straight
Yeah.
up bought that game, and I was like, I kind of wish I hadn't bought this game.
The vibes are immaculate. I love the
Oh,
vibes of it,
absolutely.
but the actual gameplay is it leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah, it also made me super motion sick, like super motion sick.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of just darting your eyes around at different things and a hell of a lot of, it's almost like a Returnal bullet hell at times, and from a first person perspective that just doesn't really work.
no,
Or at least the way that they've presented it doesn't work. Immortals Phoenix Rising, probably the best Ubisoft game I've played in years, to be quite frank. I'm not necessarily a massive Ubisoft fan.
What
Assassin's
is that
Creed
game?
or it's
Breath of the Wild diet.
it's Breath of the Wild and something like Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Origins mushed together. And I think it actually executes both of the best bits of each of those things very well. It's just a bit, I guess it depends on how much mileage you personally would get out of a Ubisoft game. But it is very much, there are tons of icons on the map and you can run around and clear things out and you can climb anything. And but no, it's really quaint. It's enjoyable enough. I probably will finish it. I'm not going to 100% it or anything, but I'm enjoying my time in it. And then Life is Strange: True Colors. I mean, I'll pass over to one of you guys about what you've been playing, but Life is Strange: True Colors, I am very impressed. I'm only 2 episodes in, but I am a bit. It's sort of windswept me a little bit. I really enjoyed the first Life is Strange, and Before the Storm didn't really vibe with Life is Strange 2, but True Colors is just excellent in terms of characters, at least. So really enjoying that as well. That's all I've been playing. Yes.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
I started playing Hades for a very brief second.
Mhm.
Was lost in simping for a while, and then and then I stopped playing. I played something else that I'm not going to talk about just yet. I'll probably talk about it next week. And the other thing that I've been playing, Resident Evil 4 remake. Yeah, I'm on chapter 5 or 6. I can't remember. Probably 6 if I remember correctly. But anyways, it's been really good. I would say the first part of the game was not it. Like there's a part in the village that it's very unclear that you're like what you're supposed to do. And this is like the very first part of the game, so like I guess mild spoilers. You're not supposed to do anything besides survive for like
Mhm.
4.5 minutes or something like that. And I like literally had to look up the guide because I was like, I don't understand like what I'm doing because I was trying to like find where to go, like what I was supposed to be doing, and it was not clear. And so yeah, once I read like, oh, you're supposed to survive for X amount of time, like I was able to like complete it that run. Like it's just I died a million times like trying to figure it out before that. So it was kind of annoying. But other than that, the game has been fantastic. Um I am really enjoying the world, the atmosphere. It's good. I like horror games, so yeah.
Cool.
Taylor, what about you?
You know, I haven't. I was going to play A Plague Tale: Innocence on Wednesday, but I didn't, and I haven't played games once again, which I don't know if I'm just the weather's getting nicer. I don't know if I'm just falling out of playing games. Like I love following games, I love podcasting about games, but playing video games, I just wonder right now if I'm at a point where I'm just not doing it as much as I really used to.
Yeah. And that's, like those kinds of things kind of come and go in waves, or at
Yeah,
least in my experience.
yeah,
So,
during the winter when it's like gets dark at like 4 p.m. Oh yeah, you better believe I'll be playing more games probably. And Spider-Man 2 comes out, Final Fantasy 16, I'll be there. But like in this transient moment I haven't, but I do I should be playing games this coming week, and it will be the next game I play will be Plague Tale. So Kevin can give me a bonus for my salary at Save the Game because he loves that. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're getting yearly performance bonuses, and
I swear,
they're capped. They're capped at 2%.
if Kevin
And
was like, Brianna, we need to have your yearly review, I would be like, Kevin, we're gonna have beef.
Kevin,
No.
I'm going to I'm I'm gonna I'm gonna sabotage your air fryer. That's what you would say.
That's so messed up. Not the air fryer.
Air fryers are a little
But
overrated.
sabotage his toaster so he can buy another one.
All right, Kevin, your
He was
shitty
so-
toaster sucks.
He was so upset about that toaster.
What if we just put a fork in your toaster while it's on and push it
Let's
around
not
in there?
do that.
Anyway, sorry, Kev. Yeah, I haven't played much, but I'm well, now I'm gonna have to try Chi at some point too, given this
Oh,
resounding
I started that as
recommendation.
well. I forgot to say that. I didn't get very
Oh,
far.
okay.
I did start because Sam was like, "She is so good," and I was like, "Okay, I have to start it." And then Resident Evil came out, and I was like, "Well,
Priorities.
yeah."
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get into.
Anyways,
Oh wait. I think 4 is a DLC too. We have in Fantasy comes out this week. Oh, and I think Resident Evil 4 is sitting at
oh, it's high.
92. Maybe went down since Friday. Nope, still 92. Top critic average 92, baby.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Let's
Wait,
get.
when does this come out for reals? Yeah, March 29th.
Wait, when does what come out?
Forza Horizon 5.
Oh, right.
Rally Adventure.
Oh yeah. Anyway, this isn't. We're not talking about Xbox because we don't like Xbox by virtue of. Why don't we like Xbox?
Because we're ponies, that's why.
Yeah, we're
Absolutely
contrarian.
despise
I
it.
almost just neighed, and I'm so glad I did.
You almost what?
It was just neighed because he said pony. I'm so glad I filtered myself there. That would have been really embarrassing.
Okay. Anyway,
Should we give a disclaimer for this episode and what we've done with this episode? Just in case.
oh right. Okay. So this episode 37, taking place on March 26, 2023 at
Why are we getting timestamps?
whenever you're recording it. I don't know. Whenever you're listening to it, I should rather say. We're trying talking about the news this week by reading some summaries from the articles themselves rather than taking detailed notes on the articles and then reading those notes. It just the pre-show prep when it comes to those article summaries that we do is like at least 2 hours. And when it comes time to record with how it's working into at least my schedule, it would be nice if I could get you as listeners the same information and a more efficient amount of prep time for myself. But if it doesn't work out, we'll go back to normal on episode 38. And again, episode 37
so if
for
this
all.
is a garbage fire.
This is a garbage fire. Only 10 of you are
Sorry.
listening anyway. We know our stats, and they don't matter, Kevin. But
That's true.
we'll correct it for the next episode. But this is what we're trying for now. If it fails, I take full responsibility, and you can buy my belongings because I won't have
Why are you
anything
selling
left.
them?
Because I won't have anything left if this fails.
Yeah, I sent them going in the mail. I'm gonna check on that.
Okay. You do
I don't
that,
want
Bree.
it sitting out in the rain.
I don't want it sitting out in the rain. Speaking of rain,
I'm being bullied.
who wants to talk about Silent Hill 2? Doesn't it always rain in Silent Hill 2? Is it raining? Or is it just foggy?
I don't know.
It's just foggy, I think.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Silent Hill 2, of course, Bloober Team announced that this game is close to completion. So, Bloober Team CEO,
You got
I'm
it.
not quite sure how to pronounce this name. Peter Babiano. Peter Babiano. I'll just call him PB, all right? Said in an interview that's been translated that the game is, quote, technically ready. It does not mean the game is finished, but we're close. He also said that, quote, however, the issue of the release schedule lies with our partners, what the promotion will look like, and when the title will debut is not directly in our hands. Konami reiterated that the original Silent Hill 2 art director, Masahiro Ito, and composer Akira Yamaoka are closely involved. Bloober Team was also working on a new Layers of Fear remake for June, Layers of Fear and Blair Witch VR ports, and a new survival horror IP. They believe VR is the future of horror games, and, quote, VR is important to us. Our partners urge us to such projects, but we do not want another port, but an innovative product, aware of its medium, speaking the language of virtual reality. I'm convinced that before 2027, we will achieve success in this field. This is from Tom Ivan at VGC. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Silent Hill 2 remake coming maybe this year, please?
This year? Question mark.
Fingers
Question
crossed,
mark?
yes.
Final
please.
Fantasy, please.
I think it could.
I mean, it would make sense to release it in like an October timeframe, right?
Why October?
Because of Halloween.
Oh, maybe.
A horror game around Halloween time.
I think they released Luigi's Mansion 3 on Halloween in 2019.
Did they?
Ish. Let me see. Or no, sorry. I remember it was like the week of Halloween. It was like the 28th or something of October.
Yeah. A bunch of horror games come out like September, October. So, I mean, we're like
it was on Halloween.
Track. If they're, because we're end of March. So if they're almost done with the game now, give them a month or two, and then they'll have to like spend some time like making sure all the bugs are out of the game. I mean, like, I don't think October's out of the question, right?
No, and also it's prime for marketing to kick off within the next couple of months, particularly with other things we're talking about today. I think that things line up where it could get announced at some kind of event or showcase, and then a couple of months later, sort of October, November, come out. I think that's highly likely.
Okay.
But you never know.
I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
but like the way that my headphones are lined up with the O on my sweater, it's like with the circle of the background. Anyway. It was really distracting me. I'm gonna move my headphones down. Okay. Sorry.
Who are you?
Yeah, no, I think I still have concerns about this.
Not allowed.
I know. And I'm pretty sure I'm the
Should
one
be
who
okay.
suggested it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you
for,
are as well.
for the fantasy crick.
So if we
But
fail, we can get angry at you.
It's less the developers that I have faith in, but the game itself. Like, I don't know how much you could mess up Silent Hill 2, which, whilst not necessarily on the same level as RE4, getting a remake in hopefully the same year, they are both very beloved classic horror titles, and if they are sticking to the foundation that the base game set, then I don't know how far wrong they could go, really, especially with some of the original talent involved in sort of higher up positions in terms of the music and the art direction and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think Bluebird has done a really great job. I mean, minus camera work, but I assume that they won't do that again. So
fingers crossed, I suppose.
So I think it'll be okay. The medium was good.
Oh yeah.
It'll be okay. Question mark. It's fine. It's all good.
We know Konami always puts their IPs in good hands.
Yeah, Metal Gear
true.
Survive. Classic Metal Gear Survive, the beloved title in the Metal Gear games.
This is like so
beloved title in the Survive universe.
Yeah.
Well, Metal Gear is actually, comes from Smash Brothers Brawl.
That is true. That is where Snake.
That's where Snake was conceived.
Yeah.
Anyway, who wants to talk about Spooder Dooder?
Spooder Dooder, as he is subsequently known. There are now claims, people, that Spider-Man 2 is going to launch in September of this year. Tony Todd, who is the voice actor for Venom in Spider-Man 2, he replied to a tweet online from a fan who said that Spider-Man 2 can't come quick enough. And he absolutely was not supposed to say this, but he said it anyway. And he said, quote, "Looks like September. Massive publicity coming in August. Commercials start dropping in August, so I'm told. Hold on to your ... and hold your breath. Gonna be necessary." Yeah, so it seems that I don't think he's deleted the tweet. Maybe he has since I last checked, but I looked up quite a few hours after this started doing the rounds, and it was still there. He did post subsequent tweets where he was like, "Oh, I got to keep my mouth shut now. I can't say anything." So he clearly got a phone call, which was like, "Why did you do that?"
At the time of recording, the tweet doesn't exist anymore.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. But the damage has been done, clearly.
How often do you think these things? Because like I totally get that like he shouldn't have done that. This was definitely like a no kind of thing. But how often do you think that they like fake those things where they're like, okay, we're gonna have this voice actor accidentally leak XYZ?
I don't think they do staged leaks unless you're Nintendo, because Nintendo has a track record of doing that. They've, I think, intentionally put out misinformation to misorient leakers. But in this instance, I don't think a voice actor saying it and then...
No, I don't think that this is the case. I was just curious. Do you think that happens?
Oh, occasionally.
Some points, yeah.
Most of the time, no, I would say. But I think Sony also said Spider-Man 2 was coming fall this year.
They did,
right?
Yeah.
As a release window, September is right on that border. Spider-Man 2018, I remember because it was one of my favorite release days for a game. Spider-Man 2018 was in September. So
I mean, that makes sense then. Yeah.
No surprise there.
And I think in terms of the staged aspect of certain leaks, I think typically speaking, and it's kind of generalizing, but I would say that they are more for titles that kind of need that additional chatter to build hype. Whereas, like Taylor said, we already kind of had the fall 2023 window, and we know it's going to sell gangbusters. Spider-Man is like one of the biggest IPs on PlayStation and just in the world in general. So I don't think if this was staged, it was completely unnecessary, because whenever they debut the announcement of the release date, it's going to break the internet inevitably.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean, it's cool. Lines up with what we know. Now the thing that I would point out is when he says commercials start dropping in August, does that mean we're going to get something from Sony a la a showcase prior to that?
Isn't there a show?
if
What's the showcase in August? I can't remember. There's a big one in August.
I mean, well, there's Summer Games Fest. I don't know when that is. With Keighley.
August. I don't know. What about August? Is there
Future Games Show by AMD is in August. I doubt that's it.
I've never heard of that.
It's definitely not going to be there.
Gamescom.
No, I think for something of this scale, it will be a Sony showcase or state of play.
State of play.
I would wager a showcase. I think that you don't, unless it is a state of play solely devoted to here's 20 minutes of gameplay of Spider-Man 2, and they say that up front, which I don't think they would. I think they'd want it to be a big pop as part of a showcase of other unannounced things. But I guess it depends on what Tony Todd is like. How much is he in the loop? When he says commercials, does that mean like TV adverts that are going live that will have the date on it? Because if that's the case, we would need the announcement, and you would also then imagine a showcase prior to August.
Yeah, so maybe like July or June. Particularly June.
Yeah, but I mean, Sony typically kind of want to avoid the E3 window. That's what they've been prone to do the past few years.
But they don't avoid it by that far, right?
Like, no. But
it's like a whole different month. So
try to have the news cycle for a week or two all to themselves, whether they come before E3 or just after. So we could get lucky, and it could come sooner. Obviously, the sooner the better, because it's good content for us, but also it's just fun to know stuff.
It is fun. Okay. Well, exciting. I will not be playing this game, but happy for everybody else.
What?
Why?
Why?
What do you mean why? There's several reasons. One, I haven't played the first one.
Play the first one.
Two, I get motion sick easily.
You get motion sick?
Yeah.
Have you tried not doing that? Actually,
you know what? I haven't tried that. I'll try that next time.
Turning off motion blur. I got motion sick.
I promise you, I turn off motion blur, and I also turn off the camera shaking stuff. So
I think Spider-Man. I mean, I don't know how severely you get motion sick, but I would imagine it's probably not that bad because the camera's pulled out quite far, and obviously it's third person. But
yeah, I mean, I might try it out, but like, I also don't like superheroes.
Yeah,
so,
just
like...
on PS. You're watching Marvel. You're doing
spoiler alert.
Films. Oh wait, what? Was I not supposed to say that?
No, it doesn't matter. It just hasn't been like officially announced.
It's okay. Only a dozen people listen. They won't know.
Something Marvel on the way. There you go. I still don't like superheroes. It doesn't matter. Just because I'm watching it doesn't mean I'm like, yes, superheroes.
Sailor Moon's a superhero.
One could argue.
Girl?
I don't know anything about Sailor Moon, by the way.
She's a magical
Eren
girl.
Yeager is a superhero.
Eren Yeager.
All right. I think Spider-Man Remastered, I think, is on PS Plus. I think.
It is. Both that and Miles Morales.
Yeah, if you just try it, give it a little...
I'll think about it.
Give it a little...
I'm a little busy.
A little smidge, a little attention.
Taylor, we're fighting a losing battle here.
I
Yeah,
might. I really, really love Into the Spider-Verse, which is so weird.
Oh, Spider-Verse is great.
So
The sequel's
yeah.
coming out. So yeah, some of my most satisfied gaming experiences were from unlocking all the different suits in Spider-Man 2018. Man, when the Raimi suit came in, oh man,
Ooh.
my nostalgia went through the roof.
Hey,
Yeah, I don't get
in
those.
Miles Morales, Bree, you you can get the suit from the Into Spider-Verse film, and
Yeah,
it does
that's why I
have the same
mentioned it.
animation style.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
would you recommend Bree play? I mean, not from a story comprehension perspective for Spider-Man 2, but from an enjoyment. What is she more likely to enjoy? Do you think she should play Miles Morales first?
I mean, there's story stuff.
There is story stuff.
Obviously, because Miles Morales comes after the first Spider-Man. But
yeah,
if you aren't that heavily invested, Miles Morales is a much shorter game, so it sort of gets into it faster. Well, I mean, Spider-Man 1 sort of gets,
dude, Spider-Man 1
rolling
story
pretty
is so
quick.
good.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I mean, I will try it, and if I don't get violently ill, then I will maybe play it. But like,
I feel like moderately ill.
I just want to like set expectations that I really don't like superheroes, like as a general
it's
rule.
worth something through.
So,
Just be vomiting whilst
Can
you're
you
holding the
say that?
controller.
well, the thing is like I don't really like. First of all, I refuse to throw up, so I never like. I just don't throw up. Like I refuse. So what happens is that I end up just getting really sick, and then I like start shaking and sweating, and then I just lay down next to the
Wait.
toilet.
So,
That's
so
how
you
it's in
don't have.
Hangover, yeah.
What if like? So nothing ever starts like coming up.
I will hold it down. I don't
Guys,
care.
I think we
Wow.
should just cut this
Yeah.
side dialogue off.
Why? Why?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe thinking about vomit before having eaten anything today isn't the nicest image.
Whose fault is that, Taylor? Huh? Whose
Your
fault is
mom's.
that?
Got
Oh,
him.
oh, damn.
Not my mom.
No.
Also, I do have 2 Sailor Moon things like literally right here. So
Yeah.
not superhero. She's a magical girl. Okay, we can continue now.
Speaking, let's just cancel this conversation.
Let's cancel the conversation.
Okay, a PS5 version of Redfall was in development, then canceled, confirms Arcane director Harvey Smith. Quote, "We were acquired by Microsoft and it was a change with a capital C. They came in and they said, no PS5, we're focusing on Xbox, PC, and the Game Pass." This is a tweet from @Shinobi602, and it's from IGN, but it's in French, and I don't read French. So
You don't? Why not?
because I don't know French. So
Oui,
if it
ça va bien.
do you actually speak French?
5 minutes. Je m'appelle
literally
Angleterre.
I know one thing in French, but
Jim
it's like
Apple?
really inappropriate, so I'm not gonna even say it. Anyways.
I dread to think.
It's pretty bad.
Well, right now, France has a lot of garbage on the streets.
Shout out. Anyways, so now there's a second part to this story that's Microsoft is denied pulling the games like Redfall from PS5 and PS4. The denial report comes after reports have surfaced a few days ago that Redfall was originally coming to PS5, but this version was canceled. CEO Phil Spencer has already claimed Microsoft does not want to keep existing PlayStation games off of those consoles, and this is the main argument in their fight to acquire Activision, Blizzard, and Call of Duty franchise. So Redfall director Harvey Smith's assertion, that Redfall was canceled on PS5 goes directly against that claim. So Microsoft spokesperson released a statement to GameSpot refuting the allegation the game was pulled from the platform. "We haven't pulled any games from PlayStation. In fact, we've expanded our footprint of games that we've shipped on Sony's PlayStation since our acquisition of ZeniMax, and the first 2 games we shipped after closing were PlayStation 5 exclusives. We did the same thing since our closing of Minecraft as we extended the reach of that franchise. All of the games that were available on PlayStation when we acquired ZeniMax in March 2021 are still available on PlayStation, and we've continued to do content updates on PlayStation and PC. We've always said that future decisions on whether to distribute ZeniMax games for other consoles will be made on a case-by-case basis. This smells like shit to me. You know what I mean? Like
that's inappropriate.
some bullshit.
Microsoft are, and again, like it's so easy for certain people to slip into like console war fanboy stuff.
Yeah,
but no, like everything that Microsoft just said is they are twisting words.
Oh yeah, that was a PR statement.
But no, not even just the fact that it's PR, but also the way that they are phrasing it is making what they have done seem different than what it is. Because they say, oh, well, once we acquired ZeniMax and Bethesda, the first 2 games that we put out were PS5 exclusives. It's like, well, you didn't choose to do that. You were contractually obligated to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's different. That's not you being like, oh, we'll still put these games out. It's like you didn't have a choice. So you had to put them out. And then it's like, well, we haven't pulled any games from PS5 yet. Well, no, you didn't pull Redfall because it wasn't out yet. That doesn't change the fact that a PS5 version was almost certainly in development because Redfall started development a year before the acquisition. So, you know, it's weird.
There's no way that this Harvey Smith guy is lying, right? Like for sure.
What reason does he have to lie about it?
He doesn't. That's the thing. Exactly. Is like, why would you even like try and go against him? I get it. They're like trying to do damage control for like this acquisition stuff. But like at the same time, like he has literally no reason to lie about this situation. Like,
yeah, I think it's trying to. I think what they're doing, Microsoft, and it's failing kind of, or at least it's so transparent what they are actually doing that I don't think that this statement is really going to do much for them. They are trying to ensure that Sony and Microsoft don't look the same because Sony gets flack so often for paying for third-party exclusivity deals and stuff. And you know there is a valid discussion to be had there about how Sony operate in that regard, paying for massive exclusivity deals with huge titles, which they are entitled to do. But Harvey Smith kind of, by saying what he said, made it like, well, it's obvious that Microsoft do the same thing anyway, but Microsoft don't want to look like they do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they're backtracking. They're like, no. We aren't paying to pull something from the system. So what you did, you bought Bethesda, and then subsequently you told them to focus just on Xbox games. So it's like, again, totally within their right to do that, but just be candid about it. Just say that that's what you're doing, because that is what you're doing. It's weird. I mean, there's two-facedness on both sides, both organizations, but it's weird how desperately, and I understand it to an extent, how desperately Microsoft are trying to look like good guys.
Oh yeah.
So
I think I would have believed a statement more that was like, oh, we wanted them to focus on these versions and we thought that the PlayStation 5 version would slow us down or something like that. Like, give us some like other excuse. Like, don't lie.
Anything else.
You know what they could say?
Oh no. What?
PS5 version. Well, that's basically what you said. Just say PS5 version is poo-poo and then.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if, as a result of this, Microsoft were like, you know what, just go ahead, just do the PS5 version as well.
I know. Just pull Deathloop from PlayStation.
Oh God!
Actually,
what a loss.
Actually, okay, I have a question about this. If they're contractually obligated to release the game on this platform, I wonder if there's a stipulation in the contract that says or doesn't say that Microsoft can or cannot pull the game from at a later date after the exclusivity agreement has expired. Like if you release Deathloop, wait like 5 years and say, taking it away. I'm not saying they would do this at all because I don't think they would. I'm just curious for the point of the hypothetical, if that would be legal. Of course, it's all in the details of the contract they signed.
Yeah, I think that's totally reasonable. In the same way that, like, Insomniac, and I know it's not one-to-one, but in the way that Insomniac obviously are now owned by Sony, but they did like
Didn't they pull
Sunset Overdrive for Xbox, and that has never come over to PS5.
I forgot that existed.
Insomniac is now in-house, so it's like not that again, it's not a one-to-one translation, but kind of could be viewed the same way, where it is technically a Microsoft IP, even though I do think that Sony technically own the IP now. I think they did resolve that, but there could still be legal stipulations there of like it released on Xbox consoles, was touted as an exclusive, and now it's a bit weird if it goes to PlayStation as well. But who knows? They could have even said for Redfall that it's a new IP, and that's the reason. If they wanted to quell concerns that they're going to pull Bethesda titles and Activision Blizzard titles from PlayStation, they could say Redfall is a new IP, and therefore it is totally within our right, even more so than usual, to keep it as an Xbox exclusive. Same for Starfield, as much as we all obviously as well know the PS5 version of Starfield was in development at some point. They could just say that. And then you could leave it ambiguous as like, well, okay, so the new IP is going exclusive. So maybe that means like Fallout 5 or Elder Scrolls 6 could still come to PlayStation. And then maybe that would make the regulators be like, maybe they are still being good people and they aren't taking stuff away. Why didn't they say that? Even if it's a lie.
This is a terrible lie. Of all the lies to tell, this one's really bad. It's not even
it's like Charlie. It's like Charlie the Unicorn. It's like, what? No, I don't. No, I didn't do that.
What a shot back into 2010.
I know. I don't know why that sprung to my mind, but it's just that voice.
Where's my money, Leo?
Carl.
I love those videos. I was thinking about the Harry Potter one.
Puppet Pals.
Harry Potter Puppet Pals. I was thinking about that earlier.
Oh, wait, the
it keeps
Wizard
resurfacing.
Square? The Wizard Square was awesome.
The Ticking Time Bomb one.
Oh, that's also good.
Yeah, that keeps popping up on TikTok. It's pretty great.
For what it's worth, before we move on to another story, are any of us like even vaguely excited or interested in playing Redfall?
Yes, I'm actually very interested in Redfall. Like, I'm excited to co-op with people for that game. What about you?
The only way that I would play is if I was with a group. I think quite a while back, I was speaking to like Kevin and Ethan and being like, hey, if timings line up, I'm happy to jump in and try it out. But it's speaking of Deathloop, that game, and I know it's a different team because this is the team that did Prey, and I love Prey. But Deathloop is objectively just a bad game.
Wow.
And it is, in my opinion. Taylor, you're somebody who's done this. We've all done it actually, but Bree hasn't finished it, and not of her own accord. It's because it glitched. But I don't know how people could play a game like Outer Wilds and then look at a time loop game that handles time moving, because it doesn't, as poorly as Deathloop does.
Okay.
It's a time loop game where time doesn't even play a factor. You can switch to different times a day, but time doesn't move whilst you're in these things. You can't miss certain conversations because you can just jump to any time of day. It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah. Outer Wilds is like it. I don't like time.
It's ruined other games for me.
It's
That's
really good. Yeah. I still
Uh,
need to play that. I think it's fixed now, but I'm scared to go check.
yeah.
I actually don't even remember how to check, to be honest.
Outer Wilds?
I made it. Yeah, because it broke, but I can't remember how to get to where it was broken, because I like made it to like a secret area and you have to do like a thing to get to the area.
If you
but I
DM
don't
me,
remember how
I
to
could get
do
you
it.
back to at least that. I don't know. You could. I don't know. We'll talk about it offline. Anyway,
Okay.
this story is for Kev. All right. Crash Team Rumble release date and closed beta has been confirmed. This is a 4-on-4 multiplayer title, and it'll be out in June 20th specifically. And closed beta will take place on April 20th to the 24th for place or pre-order the game. And the beta will feature 5 characters: Crash, Coco, Tawna, Neocortex, and Dingodile, and 3 maps. And Crash Team Rumble will cost about $30 or $29.99 for the standard edition and $39.99 for the deluxe edition. And the standard edition will include the game, closed beta access for those who pre-order, and a premium battle pass for season 1. The deluxe edition will also include the above in the standard, and plus a premium battle pass for season 2, a 25-tier instant unlock for season 1, and a digital proto pack, which includes blocky skins and equipable items. And the final game will contain a roster of Crash Bandicoot series heroes and villains, each of which falls into one of 3 roles: blocker, booster, or scorer. And players have to work together to bank the most Wumpa fruit in their drop-off zone while preventing their opponents from doing the same. Almost like a hungry hippos, to be honest, in essence. But each character has their own unique relic powers, meaning players will have to choose which characters are best suited to help their team. And Activision also said this is cross-platform, and this is being developed by Toys for Bob, who made the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, and Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time. This comes to us from VGC by Chris Scullion. And yeah, this seems been interesting. I thought originally when this was announced that it was a platform fighter clone, but obviously it's not. It's an arena multiplayer title. Basically, Keep Away. Or not Keep Away. Like I said, it's like almost applied Hungry Hippos for my listeners who have played that game. You're trying to get as much of the valuable item from the other team into your court and take the item away from others. But I don't know, it looks interesting. Seems like a love letter to Crash fans who are interested. I don't see this being a huge game, but for folks who enjoy the Crash franchise, I think it could probably be fun. Right? It's $30, so it's not charging full price for it. But for Kevin Ainsworth, I think this is a great find for him. But I'm happy for folks who are into Crash. And yeah, actually, I need to resume Crash 4. What a great game that has been over the past few levels I've played with it. So I have no doubt it'll be at least decent for your money. So what do you guys think?
I am always so trepidatious when it comes to these kind of games, because you either flourish or completely just wither and die. And if I was a betting man, I would say this is going to wither and die. Not that I necessarily want it to, but it's really hard to gauge. Clearly there is interest in the IP because Crash 4 got made after the Insane Trilogy. So the Insane Trilogy must have done well to get Crash 4, and Crash 4 must have done well to get this. But I just don't know how big, and obviously Crash Team Racing as well. That shouldn't be forgotten. I don't know, something. The warning signs are going off for this one. It's not full price, which is great. I think that would have been a death sentence more so than anything else if it was full price. But even then, I just don't know how big of an audience this is going to get to keep it sustainable in terms of player base. I don't doubt the quality because, like you say, Crash 4 was great, CTR was great, Insane Trilogy was great. But yeah, I don't have my hopes up personally. Not that I would be playing a game like this anyway, but yeah, just.
This feels like a game that should have been included like as a mini game within another game.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
Like, why is this like I realize they're not charging full price for it, but this feels like this shouldn't have been its own release. It should have been like wrapped into something else. But
it's sort of like a Mario Party kind of thing, you know. It's like it's a collection of mini games There might be an audience for that, maybe, but I don't know whether families and whatnot. Like, is this more a family-oriented game, or is it going to be super difficult and skill-based like Crash 4 is? Like, I just don't know which way this is swinging yet.
Well, I think it'll be better than Destruction All-Stars.
That is a relatively low bar, to be honest.
All right, I said it would be decent for your money, decent for $30. All right.
Yeah,
I think it'll hit that mark, and at least I know, like I said, one person
exactly. Yeah,
who will enjoy it. That's Kevin. We mentioned it for Kevin. Actually, Kevin told us if you don't mention this during the show, I'm
Cutting
breaking
your salary.
We're firing you. And I said, we, Kevin, who is we? And he wouldn't say who the other party was.
Yeah. I would assume it would be Ethan. They seem to be the pair.
What about Kevin's girlfriend?
I do like Kevin's girlfriend so far of the no interactions I've had besides her getting a toaster based on my reprimanding Kevin.
Toasties.
So,
Oh yeah.
that was a great interaction. He came back and was like, I can't believe she listened to I Hate My Friends, Brianna, and you convinced her to get a better toaster. And I was like, yeah, Kevin, because spending like $10 on a toaster is like ridiculous. Just get a nice toaster. Anyways, true story. So yeah, I think we get along.
Anyway, who wants to talk about layoffs?
I'll do it.
All right, Sam. You are the man laying off.
I'm the bringer of bad news. So more than 400 Twitch workers have been impacted by Amazon's expansive layoffs, which were announced around a week ago. And that comes as part of a total of 9,000 jobs cut across the web services, human resources, Twitch, and advertising divisions. That's the second wave of layoffs, people keeping count for Amazon, because there were more than 18,000 people cut in January. That wave was generally on Comixology, the comics thing, and I think just Amazon stores in general, if I recall. Apparently, these Twitch employees were not told if they were impacted ahead of the announcement. Many still didn't know, and it's actually kind of insinuated that a lot of people still, at date of recording, 26th of March, aren't 100% certain whether their job is safe or not, and they'll be finding out within the coming days, hopefully. Yeah, there's no real sugarcoating it. It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we talked about it for months now, but like the tech industry in pretty much any division has been hit super hard this year in particular. But it just, like, you look at the statistics and you're like, wow, that's a big number. But then you think of like each one of those numbers is a person who has to like support family and themselves and stuff. It's just sad, man. It's sad. Because it's not like Amazon is struggling as a company. Let's be honest.
Whoa! What do you mean? They only have
well, I know that's a bit of a stretch.
They only have $100 million trillion instead of like $98 million trillion.
That just doesn't cut it.
Or sorry, 98.
You said that backwards. It's okay.
We're making too much money. Need to make more money, so we have to cut the workforce. Anyway, it's bad, and I don't like talking about this kind of stuff, but I don't know. I feel like the more this information gets out there, just the more exposure hopefully some of these workers have in getting new employment. Just more people know this happened, and these people are people. These employees are real, These big companies are run by folks like you and me. So, and we want just other folks like us to succeed, especially in this gaming, tech adjacent space. Actually, if you're a game developer, I guess you would be in tech, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but, and more and more uplifting, very uplifting news.
Are you wanting to take this one? You sound like you wanted to.
I'm not a big fan of this franchise, but like I really am glad this game exists. So I don't know if I should take it.
I mean, I'm happy to take number 7. So if you want to take number 6, go ahead.
Okay. So there's a God of War inspired Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game coming called TMNT: The Last Ronin is in the works. Man, just that title gets me really excited. So the hit 2020. This comes to us from Jesse Shedin at IGN. So the hit 2020 comic book series, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or TMNT, is being adapted as a video game. It's one that draws heavy inspiration from the God of War franchise and similar, linear action. I'll just call them, for lack of a better word, Sony first-party titles we've had over the past 10 years. Polygon first reported this in an interview with Doug Rosen, Senior Vice President for Games and Emerging Media at Paramount Global. Did not know Paramount owned games or didn't own TMNT or did game stuff. But anyway, while the developer involved is still being kept under wraps, Rosen indicated the goal is to create a AAA action title that draws heavily from the comic book source material. Last Ronin is notable for its first collaboration in many years between TMNT creators Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. And based on an unproduced story from the 80s, Last Ronin is a Dark Knight Returns-esque tale set in a bleak, futuristic version of the TMNT universe. Give me TMNT Blade Runner, please. And in this world, 3 of the 4 turtles have been killed by the Foot Clan, leaving the lone survivor to seek revenge against the grandson of Shredder. Rosen also indicated the game will break from TMNT tradition by only focusing on one character, though we didn't rule out the possibility of other turtles appearing via flashbacks. And the titular Last Ronin carries the weapons of his fallen brothers, which might suggest the game can allow players to switch weapons and fighting styles on the fly. And little else is known about it right now, and the game is said to be, quote, a few years from release at this early stage. This isn't the only project to expand the Last Ronin comic. IDW Publishing is set to release a second comic called Last Ronin: The Lost Years, which will both fill in gaps in the Ronin's life and act as a sequel to the first series that includes introducing a whole new generation of turtles. So this is awesome. And I'm really psyched for this. I'm a big fan of these solo futuristic dystopia adventures. Loved Blade Runner, like I said. Also, Old Man, I haven't read it, but I loved the movie Logan and the set of Old Man Logan comics. This seems like it has some parallels there too, right? Basically, the lone survivor in a futuristic wasteland trying to still do some good. And I just love this type of cyberpunk also-esque backdrop. Like I said, it reminds me of Blade Runner and Old Man Logan more than anything. But it just seems really cool. And who doesn't love a Ronin, a masterless samurai wandering to take down the foes, right? Just seems really, really fun. I want to read this comic. Like, it just seems like a really awesome storyline to be.
The Last Ronin is for lack of a better word, radical, as the turtles would say. It's genuinely great. I mean, I love grittier takes on sort of characters from childhood. Like you said, Old Man Logan is great. I can think of plenty others, none that come to mind, but there are obviously in various forms of media those kind of tales where they sort of modernize it for the audience that has at this point sort of grown out of the typical stories that they tell within that IP. I think a God of War inspired version of that story fits like a glove. Again, like you, Taylor, I'm not the biggest TMNT fan, really. But if the debut trailer comes out and it looks like God of War but Turtles, then I'm probably going to pick it up. So I think it depends heavily on who the developer is. Because, well, I mean, not necessarily, because any developer can surprise us. But I think that will be the first indication of exactly what type of game we're getting. Not necessarily indicative of quality, but what sort of ballpark we're working within.
Right. It's like what I'm trying to think what developer that isn't non-Sony developer does the best job of making games like this. I tend to say a Respawn in their work with Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor but I don't think
Rocksteady.
there's any Rocksteady with Suicide Squad on the hot presses. Maybe they could redeem themselves from an uncertain demise. But yeah, Rocksteady, Arkham. Oh yeah, Bree, have you played Arkham City?
He
Batman
doesn't
Arkham
like
City.
superheroes.
Batman Arkham City is probably my second favorite superhero game. Spider-Man 2018 is my favorite, but yeah, Rocksteady would be quite a good candidate.
Yeah. Although they're Warner Brothers, so probably.
Oh
not.
right, and Paramount owns the. I don't know how that's going to work.
But that would have been a perfect fit if it could happen.
Right. I didn't know Paramount did games, like I said, but maybe this might be a new. Obviously, a company as large as Paramount, they can make games at the flick of a hat if they want to. So, I'm just curious if it's a new studio, right, or some studio signing on. But I hope it turns out well, and I'm excited to see it succeed.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Anything else on that one before I jump into this hilarious one?
No.
What the hell is this story?
It's my favorite. The Lords of the Fallen, which is the sequel to Lords of the Fallen, has been renamed Lords of the Fallen.
Wait, they just took out the word "the"?
Yeah, so originally for the sequel, they added "the," so that way it's like the Lords of the Fallen, so that way it's the second one. But now they've taken out "the," so it's the same name as the first one, but it's the second game in the series.
Oh, great. So this is like when they're doing it's like when they did Thief again.
Mm-hmm.
The remake. Yeah.
So it's the exact same name.
Yes, as the first game. I
don't see how this could be an issue at all unless we know what they might do. They might just pull the first game from the market to stop confusion, which would be really stupid, but I would be surprised.
Or they release the sequel to this game and it's Lords of the Fallen 2. And then we've got the Fibonacci sequence.
3 games, and it's really confusing.
Why didn't we just call the second game Lords of the Fallen 2?
I don't know, but this cracks me up. The game on a serious level, this game looks really good. It's kind of like Dark Soulsy. It's being developed in Unreal Engine 5. It looks fantastic. It's like, I mean, you can see from this like little screenshot from the State of Unreal 2023, it looks like Bloodborne almost. So it's like, it looks really cool. I'm totally here for the atmosphere, totally here for this game. But this cracked me up because they were like, you know what would be better than adding "the" to the name? Let's just make it the same name for the sequel. So it's been almost 10 years since the first one came out. So not that I played it, but this game does look pretty cool.
Are they trying to sabotage the
game? I don't know what they're doing, genuinely.
Unless there's some sort of really weird meta thing in game that we're missing, where, like, again, going back to time loops, where it's just like, if that played a part and that was the naming thing, it would still be a really dumb idea, but at least there would be some reasoning behind it.
Oh wait, wait, hold on. I have to read this other part of the article. A similar naming debacle happened in February with Layers of Fear, as a remastered collection of the series was originally called Layers of Fears before the second S was also dropped. Yeah. So they're not the first one to do this.
There goes Bloober again, making weird decisions, doing weird things.
Yeah, I don't know. This cracks me up. I'm not too worried about the game. I don't think that this game is going to be like a 10 out of 10 like Elden Ring competitor, but I do think it's going to be a solidly good game. So if they want to be silly with the name, I guess like it's really not that hard to be like, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and call it Lords of the Fallen 2. It's really not that hard.
Or some like weird subtitle thing that describes the plot.
Yeah.
They could have, if they wanted to be really funny, they could have gone Lords of the Fallen, Lords of the Fallen.
Oh no, they have to add the in there. Lords of the Fallen, call in the Lords of the Fallen.
The Lords of the Fallen.
Yeah, they should have done that. What were they thinking?
And
guys?
then the third one can be Lords of the Fallen, the Lords of the Fallen Lords.
Ooh,
Ah,
we're mixing it up.
layers upon layers here.
Yeah. So this is from Ryan Dinsdale at IGN. This just cracked me up, and I'm also really looking forward to this game. So I just thought we should talk about it. Look, good laugh.
Very peculiar. Well, the final news story. Again, I'm bringing all the terrible news today, ladies and gentlemen.
Is this terrible news? I think it's just interesting to me.
Oh no, I'd say it's pretty bad news. It's pretty bad news. Ubisoft, and I think the wording of this, the title of this article, kind of
the
indicates
proudly
that it's bad
announces.
news.
Yeah.
Ubisoft proudly announces that AI is helping to write dialogue. So, Ubisoft, the publishers behind Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Ghost Recon, have announced that an AI tool is currently helping its developers write dialogue for some of its games. This tool is called Ghostwriter, and it is described as, quote, an AI tool developed in-house that aims to support our scriptwriters by generating the first draft of our NPC barks, the phrases or sounds made by NPCs when players interact with the game world. This tool was created hand in hand with scriptwriters to create more realistic NPC interactions by generating variations on a piece of dialogue. It's being phrased as a way to save scriptwriters time. And in that sense, it is an interesting prospect. But this is also how Skynet became a thing. It's like, I think it's a really slippery slope is where I'm standing.
Yes.
Because, you know, there's Chat GPT as well, which is becoming quite prevalent in terms of Hollywood. So it's like, I like the idea of not necessarily having it write the first draft of something and then having the writers come in, because if one, that kind of invalidates the writers, and also if your writer can't produce a first draft on their own, then they're not the right writer for the job. But it's like, what if this AI tool gets refined and improved, and it not only can hypothetically produce better writing than any human could, it also will get into patterns and algorithms. And not to say that humans don't do that to an extent as well. They fall into what they know. But that will kind of, over time, I'm concerned, just begin homogenizing content. Mm-hmm. And you'll just hear the same kind of things. And again, we kind of already do, because there is language to video games and things that typically happen in most titles. But yeah, it feels really weird to me. I'd just be like, if you want to use like Grammarly and stuff to touch up one of your own drafts, that's okay.
I use Grammarly.
But yeah, just give us sponsor. We are not sponsored by Grammarly.
We're not sponsored by Grammarly. We're not sponsored by Manscaped.
Yet. Yeah, it's an interesting prospect for sure, but it's just I think that it's something that you don't want to poke the bear. If you poke the bear, something's going to happen, and it's like, if things are working fine as they are, don't try and fix it. Like I don't like the idea of humans being removed from, especially a creative process.
See, I think I fall on almost like, not like the complete other side, but I think I do kind of lean towards like, especially if this is barks specifically, if they are just using this for barks, and you have to remember, like, these Ubisoft games are like gigantic. So there is so much writing in these games. And if these are all like the throwaway bark lines that are like nobody pays attention to anyways, like, why not save the writer's time to create like the actual stuff that you interact with? Do you know what I mean?
But would you feel weird playing a game if you knew it's like in the credits of a game you're just going to see Ghostwriter in the writing credits? It's
Okay, that's kind of cool though.
I don't know. I prefer bad lines written by a human than like
No,
clinical
I get
lines
it.
written
I
by a
I
computer.
totally get it. I just think that it's like it's for me, it's like the time-saving piece so that way they can focus more on the lines that truly matter. Because like a lot of these lines are just like the people walking around the city that you're walking by and there's a shopkeeper that's talking to some random dude like I don't know, like that seems really tedious and I'm not saying that writers can't be involved and obviously if this is only a first draft that it's doing, then they will be involved, but there's so much dialogue that you have to write to get an Assassin's Creed kind of game out that like if this is making their lives easier, then I think that that's okay.
But do you trust any game company, to be fair, but specifically Ubisoft in this scenario, to not only regulate it to just barks and also
No.
just first drafts?
No, that's the part where I don't trust it.
Yeah.
Taking them at their word, I think this
Oh,
sounds
sure.
like
Yeah.
it
No,
works.
it's great. Anything to help, but I
But
think that
actually actually in practice, I guess we'll see. I think that I'm also concerned about whether this was something like the writers were like, "Hey, we really love like help with this. Like, can we build this tool?" Or if it was something that was like forced on them and the writers don't really want to use it. And I think that that's also another layer of like how this whole thing works. But I don't
yeah.
know. I think that like just taking it at like a surface level of what they're actually saying, this sounds really cool. But no, I totally agree with you on that part. That's why I said I'm like, I'm not completely on the other side. Where I completely disagree with you because I don't trust Ubisoft to learn or to use this ghostwriter intelligently and effectively to
And
create the best
responsibly.
experience. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
don't.
think it's just my headspace. Maybe it is slightly more skewed because I've seen the reaction from like screenwriters unions and guilds in terms of the chat GPT stuff with Hollywood. Like there were certain people higher up in Hollywood, and obviously it's a completely different business, but sort of pushing for this thing to help write first drafts and to help write sort of lines for extras and things like that. So not necessarily the most important stuff, but just to speed up the process.
Yeah.
And like it's been so vitriolic from the screenwriters unions. Just like I'm not part of that community, but I just the last thing I'd want really at the end of the day is I just don't want the wool being pulled over writers' eyes into believing that this is something that it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if
I
they're like,
think
oh, this
it
sounds great, this will make our life so much easier, and then in a year's time they're out of work because they've been replaced by a computer, it's like that's a no-no.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll absolutely see how this like plays out. This whole like chat GPT thing is all like pretty like fresh in the public eye.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see how that plays out in general. But yeah, like I said, like I've been having to use it for work and stuff. So we'll see what happens. We shall see. Okay, I think that is the last one. And we're at an hour and 13 and we have a post show. So I think we're okay.
All right. So wait, so we have to stop recording and start recording again, right?
Yes, we do, but we do have to say goodbye to people and where can we find us and all of that.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So I guess before I say something more, if you want to listen to the post show and other Save the Game Media exclusive podcasts like
$1.
The Leftovers, like Save the Game, well, not anymore, but and all our post shows, and probably
all of our shows have post shows now once a month. Besides, I Hate My Friends, which is every week. So
yeah. But if you want all that, check us out on our Patreon, and you get access to shows, early access to shows as well, right after they're finished recording. But with all that said, thank you guys so much for listening. And I think this new format worked out just fine. What do you guys think? This news format?
Yeah, I vibe with it. I think it works okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Save me time. Save me 2 or 3 hours too, Saturday nights.
You can find us at youtube.com/SaveTheGameMedia again, and don't forget to check out our Discord Links are all in the description. And where can people find you, Bree?
You can find me at Fabulous Brianna. And that's FABULIST BREANNA.
What about you, Sam?
People can find me on Twitter at Sam Heaney. That's HEANEY.
All right. And you
Taylor.
can find me at the Discord as Taylor on
Yay!
the Discord. That's it.
Okay.
And until next time,
Goodbye.
guys. Bye-bye.